Hey, in this part we are going to talk about SQL data types, and you need to know that every time we create a table in SQL, we need to define what kind of values each column will store, and this is what we call a data type. And choosing the right data type is super important because it affects how your database stores information, how fast queries run, and whether your data stays accurate. Okay, so let's go through the main categories of SQL data types, which are numbers, text, dates, time, Boolean, and some special types. Okay, so for example, we have numeric data types. Okay, so these are used for storing numbers, and there are two main groups, which are integers and decimals or floats. Okay, so the word int, for example, let me create here a file in our VS Code, okay, which is the code editor that I'm using. You can use Sublime Text, Atom, any code editor you have. So here we have, we can create called the name. It's called name.sql, our SQL file, name.sql. Okay, so inside here I said we have the int, that int. Okay, the int, this one, it stands for whole numbers. Okay, like 10, like 20, like 30, like 40, like that. Okay, like 9, those whole numbers. Okay, even negative numbers like 2, like 3, like that. Okay, like that. Okay, and we have another one which is called a small init. Okay, the small init. Okay, and this one includes smaller range of integers. Okay, and it uses less space. Okay, for example, let me turn there. We have what we call the small init, like this one. It's called small int. Okay, small int, that one. Okay, small int. Okay, and this one stores a small range of integers. Okay, small range of integers. We have another one which is called big int. Okay, it is the opposite of small int. Okay, so this one is a big int, like that, big int. Okay, and this one stores a very large numbers, includes a very large numbers. Okay, and it is good for IDs or counters. Okay, or counters. You will see that, you will see how to use them later. Okay, so from the integers we have another type which are the decimals. Okay, decimals. Okay? So for the decimals, we use what we call this one. We need to specify for example, let me show you an example. Okay, so here we can specify, for example, we can specify decimal. Then here, inside here, we need to specify. Okay, for example, for the integers we had to specify like this, int. Then inside here we can specify like 10. Okay, like that. Okay, even here we can specify like 20, like that. Okay, 20. But here for the decimal, if you want to specify, you will see how to apply these ones. Okay, later. Okay, later in my videos. Okay, you will see how to apply these ones. Okay, so here inside the decimals we can have like 8. Let us have 8, and here let us have 2. Okay, and this one means up to 8 digits. Okay, with the 2 after the decimal point. Okay, so for example, we can have man like this, 1 2 3 4 5, like that, 0.67. Okay, like that. Okay, and others can be like this one, but they must not exceed 8 digits. Okay, so for example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so this one becomes invalid. Okay, and then point something, like can give, this one becomes invalid. Okay, and the database will try to round it to 2 decimal points. Okay, like this one. Okay, like that one, or like 9, that there. Okay, like that. Okay, so you should note that decimals are the same as floats. Okay, they are the same as floats. Okay, so if we try to use, because they are the same as, let us try to see if we can use float. As you can see, it also works. Okay, so for example, we can create a table. Let me show you something here. We can create a table. Like this one. We can create product. We can create a table called product. Create a table. We call it products, like that. Then inside here we can provide some information. Okay, you need to know that in order to create a table must have more than 0 columns. Okay, should have like 1 2 3 greater than those ones. Okay, so for example here we can have product ID, then here it can be an int, okay, an integer. Okay, if you want to use small int, but I don't recommend you to use that one. Okay, let us use int. Okay, remaining with integers. Okay, integers like that. Okay, so here we can specify for the quality like that. Okay, quality, then here we can use small init, it is small int. Okay, small ints for small integers. Okay, then for the price we can have the price, then price we can specify decimal, then inside here we can specify decimal. We want 8 digits. Okay, 8 digits, maximum of 8 digits, then we want to round it to 2. Okay, to 2 like that. Okay, so even if you have something like this 2000, it will include the 2 zeros like that. Okay, so you get that output. Okay, even if it is 3, you will get this output. Okay, so that is it. So let us now see how we can use even the float. So to use the floats, we can use discount rate. Discount rate can be a float. Okay, it can be in form of decimals. Okay, so we can put this one as a float. Okay, so it is a float pointing number. Okay, so it will be in form of like points. Okay, point something, okay, point something like that. Okay, point that. Okay, so let us now take a look at another category apart from numbers. Okay, let us now take a look at what we call the character. Okay, or the string data types. Okay, so this one, they are represented as the chars. We use the char keyword. Okay, for example, let me show you something here. So we use the char. Okay, the char, this one stands for character. Okay, and this one has a fixed length, so you can specify a fixed length. Okay, so if you say like char, then you specify like 5, and this one, and you you store it. Okay, you store this one. Okay, you store this. For example, if you store this one, like for example, if you store in that column and you store like high. Okay, like high. Okay, it becomes high with some spaces. Okay, it becomes high with some spaces there. Okay, so for example, if you store something like if you store something like if you want to store something if you want to store something without other spaces. Okay, other spaces like this one. So for this one, it is going to add more spaces. Okay, until it makes up of 5 spaces. So for example, here, as you can see here, we have this one this H stands in one space. Okay, and I in another space. So these are 2 spaces. Then it will add other 3 spaces. Okay, to complete the 5. Okay, so for example, we have 2, 3. It will add another one, which is 2, 3, 4. Those are 4, then 5. Okay, so it will look like this. Okay, so if you want to avoid this, if you want to avoid these other spaces, and you want to if you put a data, it will get it will reserve. Okay, a needed space. Okay, the required space. Okay, you can use what we call the VARCHAR. Okay, and this one it is called the variable length. Okay, and this one is much more common. Okay, because it only uses the space it needs. Okay, so for example, we can use VARCHAR like that. Okay, VARCHAR like that. Okay, variable character. Okay, so and if you want to use for very long strings like articles, comments, or description, it is better to use text. Okay, text like that. Okay, text. Okay, so let me show you an example. Okay, let me show you an example so that you can understand. So we can create a table. Let us call it customers. Then inside here we can provide, so for example, for the customer ID, let us specify it is an integer. Okay, so for the first name, let us specify it is a varchar. Okay, varchar, and we want it to be the maximum. Okay, so for the maximum it should be 50. Okay, so it is going to keep on reserving only what is needed until it reaches the maximum of 50. Okay, 50 characters. Okay, so after there we can use another one like the notes. notes. For the notes, we can use it is a text like that, okay, like that, okay. So these are the best ones that you should use, the VARCHAR and even the texts, okay. It is better, okay, instead of using the CHAR for character, these ones, okay, instead of using this one, okay. So it is better to use this one, okay, unless if you are using CHAR, if you are storing only like for example for male, female, you are storing only M and F's, okay, you can use, and here you need to specify like one, okay, like that, okay. So it is better to use the VARCHAR, okay. So here if you are using VARCHAR and you are storing like the gender, you can use VARCHAR, and the maximum is 1, okay, is 1. So you'll be storing MF like that, okay. So let us now take a look at the date and the time data types, okay. So SQL has special types for handling dates and times, okay. So for the date it stores just the date, like 2025 something slash 09 slash 11, okay, like this one, okay. Let me show you something. So for the date, this one, okay, for the date it can store something which is equivalent to something like this, 2020, 2025, 6, 2026, then we have we can have 09, we can have then 11, like that, okay, like that, okay. So then we have another one which is the time, okay, and this time, for the time it stores only the time, okay, like this. So for the time, that time stores something like this, okay. So for example 14, 30 in form of any 24 hours clock, okay. So we have another one which is the date time, or the timestamp, and this one stores both the date and the time together, and it is useful for recording events, okay. So for example you can use the date time. To use it, you use date time like that, okay, date time, okay, like that. So let me show you an example. So you can have an example here when we want to create a table for orders. Then inside here we can have the order ID. We need to specify it that it is an integer, or is the ID is an integer. Then we can have the order date. Then this order date can be of a type date, okay, and even we can have here for the delivery time. Delivery time. For delivery time we can have a type of time, okay, type of time. Then for the created date, let us have the created date, like that, created at, or let us use the created at instead of the created date. Then this one is the date time, okay, date time, like that, okay. So as you can see, so this is the flow, okay, this is how we can use them, okay. So let us take a look at another type, which are the booleans, okay. So these one, most databases also support a boolean type, okay, which stores only true or false, okay. So in some systems like MySQL, this one that we are working with, or if you are working with that, but in this part I will using, okay, I always use MySQL, okay. In MySQL, it stores intentionally, okay, as internal, okay, not intentionally, but internal, okay, as the t, okay, for the tiny int, okay, the tiny, or you can call it the tin y int, okay, or 0 for false and 1 for true, okay. So for example here, if we had, for example here, we can have the order is active. Let us add is active, and we say that it is a boolean, like that, okay. So it must be boolean is active. So here we need to add some commas, even here some commas, is active, boolean, like that, okay, boolean, like that, okay. So this one we can use it like this, as it stores 0 for false as the false, and 1 for true, okay, Okay, so like that. So we have another types which are the special or advanced data types. Okay, and this one, they depending on the database system you are using. There are more advanced types. Okay, so for example, we have the BLOB, not BLOB. Have the BLOB, which stands for binary large object. Okay, this one is used for storing images, audios, or files. Okay, so for example, here we can have image, img. Let me use img. We can use BLOB, or let me see JSON. Okay, so this is another type. We can use BLOB like that. Okay, this one. Okay, we can use BLOB. We have also another data type which are for storing JSON data types. Okay, and this one is supported. It is supported by Postgres, SQL, MySQL, and others. Okay, so for instance, here we can get info JSON like that. Okay, JSON like that. Okay, so we also have another one which is the UUID. Okay, and this one is a unique identifier. Okay, and it is commonly used for primary keys. Okay, so for example, here we can use key. Now let me use key. Let me use that one so that we don't confuse it with our keywords. So here we can have UUID like that. Okay, UUID. We also have some database also allows storing XML data. Okay, so and for that you can use for example, we can get all. Then here for the get all, we can have XML like that. Okay, so if you see this, just know this one supports. Okay, the one I'm using supports. Okay, on my machine this one supports. Okay, if you see this. Okay, so we also have another one which is called the geometry/point. Okay, and this one is used in spatial databases. Okay, it is used for maps and location data. Okay, so for example, here we can use for, let us have location. Then here we can location 1. Let us specify. Let us use see if we have geometry. As you can see, we have it. We can also have another one which is point. Okay, this one, it is the same. Okay, it is the same. They are used interchangeably. Okay, they are the same. Okay, they are almost the same. Okay, so even you see here we had BLOB, but it did not work. Okay, it did not work. Let me put in uppercase BLOB. It is not working. Okay, but just know it is also there. Okay, it is also there. Okay.